Hey guys, it's Matt. One of the old guard died suddenly over the weekend. His name was Mike. In Saturday's video, in the beginning, I mentioned that it's not just me putting forth all of reality in 1 hour. It's all of what was given to me and emails and phone conversations, whatever it may be, that shaped my opinion. So it became 50-50, 50% my own research and 50% what all of you have shared with me created basically Saturday's video. And Mike had shared a tremendous amount with me over the years. Now let's get one thing out of the way. No, he did not rent the Action Jacksonation. No, in fact, he was just the opposite. He, over the years, pointed out a ton of, let's just say, things that the notnilC was up to that was not, you could say, great for our health. He mentioned several times to me, Matt, you keep saying the only cure they ever brought us was hepatitis C, and the people don't question that Hep C is the only thing cured in 50 years. He said, Matt, you should see, those that say they're cured of Hep C and what they took, you should see the side effects of what they were given. Maybe they were cured of Hep C, but a lot ended up a lot worse. So Mike was all about that sort of information. It has nothing to do with the renting of movie. I'm sure it's just the opposite. It was completely unexpected. But Mike had abilities he never described to me in detail, but like almost nobody else here in this community. Not just out of body experiences, astral travel. He could in some way see the other side, he called it, the afterlife. Never gave me a ton of details, but I never really got an email from Mike where I said, that's completely wrong. No, he helped shape my opinions in several things. And remember when Lisa/Violet died about 1 year ago almost, he said to me, he came to me unsolicited, he said, I know that she's made her way to where she needs to be. I have a few old emails that I saved that I found from Mike, and we're going to look at some of the wisdom he provided in those emails on and off during this presentation. But first, I want to talk about where this channel's going, and you can decide if this will be for you going forward. Okay, Saturday, all of reality in 1 hour. Now what do, right? Well, if I'm wrong in a certain area or two, I'm certainly going to adjust it based on your feedback, as I always have. But for the most part, most of us generally agree that that's basically what's going on in this reality. All of reality in 1 hour. Now what do? Well, the series are working. Philosophers, Jung, Hegel, the notnilC travel tours. The others, it works, and I enjoy doing them. I'll continue to do them. But let's just say the work I did on Hegel, that was 3 weeks of reading. I mean, it's hard to, if we're going to do 4 or 5 videos a week, it has to be more of like a general radio program where I talk to you about the 20 things in reality I noticed this week. 15 you may agree with, 5 you don't agree with, 1 may hit home. Like I saw that exact same phenomenon in the Target stores, what popped into my head 2 seconds ago. There's been a shrine to Taylor Swift in the Target stores for, I don't know, as long as I can remember. All the different products, the Eras tour now, and the shrines moved a little bit back in the store because all the Christmas stuff is there. All the junk that they brought in from China for 5 to 10 cents each, and then they sell it for $14.95. The beginning of the Target store, it's incredible. It's the first few rows as you walk in, it's junk beyond measure. It literally may be a few cents to produce each item. And I don't know, they don't sell it for that much. When you walk in $5, $6, $10, the markup is about 99%, and I'm sure most people don't touch it. Well, I can't, a lot of it goes in the trash and in the landfills. It is a disgusting business practice. They put this absolute junk, and you can see it may be a few cents per item. I mean, the Wicked presentation, that crazy shit show about this new movie that's out with its constant pairing of the emerald green and the magenta, need to do more like general radio programs. In the truth community, we're like, I don't know, like brainwashed to think that a video topic has to be about one thing. So Matt, if you're going to talk about Wicked and the emerald green and the further pairing of the emerald green with the magenta, then it has to be the topic of the presentation, and it has to be a half-hour discussion on just that. Like, why? I can't do that anymore. If I do a philosopher series or not no travel tours, I can't do. I just it takes up too much time, and there's so many things in reality as we walk through it that we notice that's just worth talking about in passing. Just like a regular radio show, it will become 2 or 3 of these a week will be more like this. Be 10 topics, 15 topics, and I learned several years ago that nobody's coming here for anymore for any genius insight. Every once in a while, Matt pulls something from his behind, like John McEnroe yelling out all those years you cannot be serious as an ode to their astrology. Things like, yeah, I mean, I'll pull one of those out of my behind every so often. I'll have, but mostly this what we're doing here right now is literally like the lyrics, the start of "Let's Go Crazy," Prince. I don't want to talk about it. That's a possible Mandela effect. We'll talk about that some other time. We are gathered here today, right here at the Quantum of Conscious channel. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life, to get through this thing called notnilC. The craziness. We're here is for basically to lean on each other as one of the last bastions of sanity. And remember, do you remember a few months back? It was one of the presentations where I was talking to you through the camera. I said, if you're here, this is one of the last bastions of insanity that exists. It was that's a Freudian slip. Well, yes and no. No. So we're here. Nobody's here for waiting for Matt to come up with some genius insight he's going to pull out of his behind. We're here for each other, basically. We are gathered here today to get through this thing called notnilC. And things, what does Prince say? Things are much harder here than in the after world, most likely. Okay, absolutely. This is about as hardcore as it gets. So these shows are going to be about general reality observations. There can be, a few more of these a week. I love the topic research, the philosophers, and the different things we look at specifically. But it takes it just takes a ton of research. It's hard to do that 4 or 5 times a week. And so you see people say, well, then make 3 videos a week, Matt. Well, there are people that support me, all right? $3, $5 a month or whatever. They don't do that for one video every 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, again, if it becomes more like tuning into a radio program, what's going on in reality today, looking at some headlines, then, again, that's us, a collective group, in a way, sharing experience and in a way being together. And that's more of where this channel is going to evolve into. All of reality on Saturday in an hour. Yeah, I could be wrong about a lot of it. I'll look to your comments to see in any specific areas if you believe I'm wrong. But now what do you do? And it was only somebody got on me. Well, Matt, why do you, if it's so simple, why did you, somebody, I forget what the comment said, why did you need all the details? And then, of course, I reply back in the same way. Again, you're assuming everybody here's at the same level. See, Matt, you said it was a half page. It is a half page to the old guard. It's 1 or 2 sentences to the old guard. The detail of the 1-hour presentation on Saturday is provided, assuming in the Amish classroom there's 1st graders through 12th graders. It's, again, the short-sightedness of people commenting, thinking everybody's at their level, which I just don't get. Before we go to some things in Mike's emails, just want to thank Bill again for every single week, 2, 3, 4, sometimes even more posters. There are 15 posters I haven't even shown you yet. There are just funny, ridiculous slapstick posters like this that are very deep. Thank you, Bill. So yeah, worth mentioning. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are an ocean in the drop. This is similar to what we talked about on Saturday via the Saturnalia role reversal. Everything here is opposite. It seems like you're very small, what's the opposite of that? You're much, much bigger than this place. This is simply our role reversal. To come in here and be small and fart in the elevator and be low and be material. And it's the role reversal likely for the Melvin P's of the world. And the lone scums, which is an anagram for Elon Musk. It's their role reversal. Here, it's their chance to rule. The peasant becomes the lord. That's why they're game addicted. That's why they don't want to move on, as Tony said. But they're lesser beings. It's the definition of a big fish in a small, smelly pond. They rule here. And what's the rule of opposites means, outside of this place, they're not very much. Get ready for a surprise, Melvin P. And a minute ago, I mentioned what Elon Musk's name scrambles into anagram lone scum, which is more appropriate, which is probably what's on his birth certificate. But this just popped into my head. Was it 6 months ago, 7, 8 months ago? And I think this was the one. Whoever came up with that, like, blasted me. Like, Matt, you're not giving me credit for coming up with what? I mean, it's really, if you're worried about credit and me, hey, that came from Dave or whatever. I don't even know who came up with it. If you're worried about that, dude, you have a lot of work to do. Part 2, the work, get busy, my friend. Almost nothing that comes out of my mouth is from me, comes from you. Imagine, and I do mention like Tony from time to time, because that's some real weird hardcore shit, like sequential incarnation versus the simultaneous. And I'll throw Tony out a few times in a video. I may mention Bill, but could you imagine if I had to cite in every single sentence where something came from? Half the damn presentation would be like a long bibliography and reference notes at the end of a Wikipedia page. Dude, if you needed me to cite that you came up with that, you have a lot of work to do, my friend. All right, let's look at Prince's lyrics for Let's Go Crazy for a few minutes before we look at some of the words of wisdom from Mike and some of the emails that I've saved. And we're looking at this, the main reason is because this type of program at the Quantum of Conscious channel is going to be named something along these lines. Like, I don't know why I instantly thought of this, because we are gathered here today to get through this thing called notnilC. That is 99% as to why everybody's here at this point, not for something I'm going to pull out of my behind. So it might just say, Dearly Beloved, and you'll know what the show is. It's going to be something related to this. Why? I don't know why this popped into my head, but we have to look at it in detail. Well, Matt, you're certainly going to mention the Mandela effect. That might be, no, I'm very Mandela affected, but no, I'm not going to talk about that right now. The way this is put makes a lot more sense than to celebrate this thing called life. Typically, when something's a Mandela effect, there's things called residuals that kind of point to what you remember it being. I don't think there are residuals. This makes much more sense. He's talking about how hard everything is. Oh, we're here to celebrate. Okay, Matt, leave it alone. We'll talk about them. The Mandela. I'm not running the Mandela effect, people. You my people. I see it too, but not right now. Okay. So let me present this as Prince would. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. That is so well put. Yes, we want to grasp and hold on to the heaven as it presents itself. The heaven cannot completely be snuffed out by notnilC. But the in-between times, there's not constant heaven presenting itself here. There's a lot if you can see it, but the between times for me is, yeah, Prince, I hear you, to get through this thing called life. If I could just get to Sunday. I mean, well put. That's why I don't think it is to celebrate. Sorry, whatever. Matt, don't go back there. We are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. That's why we're gathered here today at this Quantum of Conscious channel. Electric word, life. What? It means forever, and that's a mighty long time. Life doesn't mean forever, Prince. What is this lyric all about? Electric word, that's poorly written. This makes no sense. But I'm here to tell you there's something else. The afterworld. Oh, thanks, Prince. You're the only one in history that's ever mentioned there could be something beyond this existence. This is completely new. A world of never-ending happiness. Yeah, no, it could be just another level. It could be, joyful eternity of bliss after this one life. That doesn't make any sense to me. An eternity of reward for just sloughing it through 80 years. Okay, forget it. Let's just get through this, sorry. You can always see the sun, day or night. No, that ain't nothing but Iceland. So when you call up that shrink in Beverly Hills, you know the one, Doctor, everything's going to be all right? Instead of asking him how much of your time is left, ask him how much of your mind is left, babe. Because in this life, things are much harder than in the afterworld. I agree with you there, Prince. This is about as hardcore, tough as it gets. In this life, you're on your own. Yeah, that's true too. As usual, a lot of profound things mixed in with nonsense. That's kind of how the notnilC does business. But Matt, you're not saying Prince was notnilC. No, why would I? He talked about tales of chemicals. Oh, sure. Yeah, he was outside the dragon's wing. Let me apologize. No, sorry. The bottom is very strange here. Let's get right to this. And it says, if you're long-haul trucking, it says, and if de-elevator, de-elevator, and if de-elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy, punch a higher floor, woo. De-elevator. Did he really write the lyrics like that? Why not just write the? But okay, yeah, we know Matt, he died in an elevator. I mean, come on. Was he two things? Was he ritualistically blanked, blanked, or is it all cake and a lake and he's on David Bowie Island? Either way, it's a Not Nilk Dragon's Wing presentation where there's tremendous truth mixed in with nonsense. So wherever Prince is today, playing tonight, opening for Michael Jackson, or would maybe they take turns because their star status is relatively equal. David Bowie Island, or he was ritualistically blankety blanked and whatever, fed to the wolves. You know what? We appreciate what you wrote in some of the songs, Prince. So thanks a lot, my man. Although the way you dressed in the movie Purple Rain, with what was her name? Her name was Apollonia or something. The way you dressed was just absolutely dreadful. Guess what I just thought of? It just popped in my head. Prince's dirty song, Darling Nikki. What's another word for Satan? Old Nick. Darling Nikki. Of course, Satan would be androgynous, right? Like the Baphomet. Darling Nikki, maybe about old Nick, which is Satan. Way to go, Prince, you loser. Okay, Mike was a big believer in the NPC, or at least that there are different spiritual entities here that are not the same as you. In one email here, he writes, getting into the psyche of the NPC is one of the hardest things a spirited being can attempt to do. He's basically telling me, Matt, it's not even worth trying to figure out those motivations. Although I did believe he does agree with the download concept, that it is taking some sort of instruction from Not Nilk. But you just can't get it. Why can't they figure it out? Why can't they see what we see? Why don't they point at the craziness as we do? He says, Matt, don't bother. He's basically saying, getting into the psyche of the NPC is one of the hardest things a spirited being can attempt to do. Here Mike's talking about that real spirited beings are typically, or the original thought people that come up with the ideas. He's saying here, quote, original thought people like you and me have no follow through. One way thing he's talking about here is whoever makes the money from an idea or sees it through or equates it into success or fame is usually the NPC type. They have great follow-through without original thought. They'll take that idea, steal it for the most part, and then run with it, make a lot of money, build a business. The original thought person has the great idea. That could be the real spirited being, but just doesn't know how to translate it into this Not Nilk world. When I read this, it's very similar to these stories, which are all legend and lore and a lot of cake and a lake fake about how Silicon Valley got started, and Bill Gates paid $50,000 to that person to get DOS, really didn't come up with the core of it himself, or basically, isn't that stealing? I mean, pulled out pocket change. Bill Gates' father was very rich. Basically, it's stolen because maybe he saw that it would become a multi-billion-dollar thing. Original DOS operating system behind Windows to those over age 45, the old blinking green screen. That person, there's maybe a lot of truth to it, because could not translate it because they're not born under the dragon's wing. They don't know how this system works. Basically, every single business idea I've ever had where I'm on my own trying to translate something into Not Nilk, whether it be an insurance product or whatever it may be, all of it failed. All of it failed. I mean, I was able to pay my bills for several years selling insurance products, but I was right in the middle of the dragon's wing. And then that failed because you and I, real spirited beings, don't translate with a frequency into this world. Every stock, well, not every stock, because I picked many, and not Nilk's going to drive everything I pick down to zero just because Matt picked it. I owned Intel for a while, but it floundered. The Not Nilk's going to not drive Intel down to zero and screw millions of its own people just because Matt picked it. But incredibly, some of the ones I picked, a disproportionate percentage, went down 90%. Our frequency doesn't translate into this place. So the way Mike has put this is brilliant. And let me find it again. Original thought people have no follow-through. They can't translate it. That overall, that's a good thing. If you're compatible with this reality, then something might be wrong. You have some work to do. You don't want to be compatible with this reality. We're here, it's related, he says. Think of, even in our own truth community, think Russell Brand and his team of writers. He just reads what they write. He might, someday it's possible, he says, that he might jack the notnilC idea from you and make it his own. And if he does, it'll become gigantic because they can see it through. The NPCs and those on the ship of fools and the frequency and the radio station, they understand how this world works. They vibrate with it. They understand how to take it under the dragon's wing and bring themselves fame and success or whatever. All right, let me read you part of this email from Mike to me. While a lot of people refer to this current realm as a hell realm, it's actually not a realm at all. It's a hell matrix within the realm. Have you ever, Mike understands the whole principle of latching onto the heaven. This is just taken out of context, folks. One little segment here. It's not that negative. Have you ever seen the construction of a globe, the metal frame? That would be a good visual for a matrix within a realm. This realm was never meant to be this way. It becomes a matrix when natural law is invaded, and natural law was invaded in every way, shape, and form, mostly starting big time, he's saying, at 2012, when it went into overdrive. And now every facet of natural law has been invaded. Even weather warfare, whatever CERN is doing. A million examples of how natural law has been invaded, and this relates to what I've said many, many times over the years. They keep trying to take larger and larger bites of, I call it the shit sandwich. It's not a good way of putting it. The notnilC and its minions can't help itself. It never stops. It can't back off. It doesn't know how to back off. He says, we're being poisoned from every direction. The sun looks strange. All this stuff of, okay, blah, 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 blah. If you want to see humanity really go crazy, Prince, create the ultimate level of chaos, remove the full spectrum from the sun. This relates to what we talked about on Free Voice with the shift to blue light and what Thaddeus taught us. This is very interesting. If you want to really see humanity go crazy and create the ultimate level of chaos here on Earth, remove the regular Roy G. Biv, remove the full spectrum from the sun. Maybe he would say shifting it towards the blue. Human beings run on hormones that depend on the sun. I didn't even know, by the way, reading this, guys, would be related to Sunday's Free Voice video. Like humans depend on the sun, like vitamin D was actually a hormone. It's responsible for everything. Every cell in the body depends on vitamin D. If we lack it, we go mad. Also, another purpose of the Action Jacksinations is now revealed. Just like a dental filling is hardened via blue and white UV light in the dentist chair, all this blue light, everything's skewed towards the blue light coming from every single modern bulb might, I don't know, harden or solidify something else in certain people that don't have their armor on or the defenses up. I believe the will of spirit is more important than anything. I don't do a lot of healthy things, guys. I drink my Diet Cokes and Coke Zeros. The will of spirit, I don't think one day Matt's going to be turned into a zombie because of his practices of eating Fritos and taking in the poison, drinks and things. I don't think it's going to happen. Will of spirit rules this place. All is mind. That's before the physical. So someday I think, hello, Quantum of Conscience subscribers. Today we're going to have a campaign to bring back Ellen DeGeneres. If it turns to that, you'll know that I did succumb. I don't think, even though my health practices, my eating is bad, I don't think I can succumb in that way. Let's look at Bill's latest Elon Musk poster before moving on to the next topic. In his spare time, while running 1,000 companies, plus fixing America. He's doing that with Donald Trump. Well, you got to fix America as well. Elon Musk directs the Boston Philharmonic Orchestra's rendition of It's a notnilC Life for Us. A little bit different twist on what was presented in the various versions of Annie, where the Annies were different color. It's a notnilC. Instead of treated, we get tricked. Instead of kisses, we get screwed over by the notnilC. Regarding all the companies that Elon Musk runs daily, where you and I can barely fit what we need to do in our schedule, somebody sent me something. He's also like a master player of Diablo. He's broken that video game. He's so good at it. Some of it has to be. Well, it's all fake. when it comes to this guy, but that part, and you could hear him talking over the game Diablo, but the AI can fake any voice, so it's just funny. Maybe the not nilC and what it presents regarding Elon Musk to the masses is so ridiculous. Why would we think at the not nilC would stop at just the presentation of running companies? He'll probably be running a marathon soon. He'll solve the Rubik's Cube faster than anybody else. And I know there are kids today that can do it in 9, 10, 11, or 12 seconds. He'll beat that. So it wouldn't surprise me if it actually was Elon breaking all the records regarding Diablo 2 or whatever the damn video game is. The not nilC, a lot of guys, what the not nilC does is it's constantly testing and gathering information up about the collective conscious, the masses, but I think more specifically, finding out what the real spiritual beings are up to. I think it knows far more than we do how many of us there are here. I think it knows, the 144,000. I think it's a lot more than that, whatever it is. We don't know. I think it knows. It's always testing. I thought many times the three main Star Wars movie, the middle of the canon with the Rey, not all the Rogue One outlier shit. The Rey, those three. I'd literally sometimes fall right back that this is nothing more than a test to see how gone the population is. Maybe it has to test its own NPCs from time to time, or those that it believes that are on its radio station and frequency. I fall back many times, guys, regarding the Star Wars Bad on Purpose. It could be nothing more than a test, just to gauge if people just love it. For example, the last three Rey movies were just as horrible as you could possibly imagine. I mean, I talked to my friend Tony, and he's like, they weren't. I wasn't thrilled with that, Matt, but it was fun and entertaining. I just don't understand that. I think if a certain percentage of the population, whatever it puts out, whether it be the Star Wars or other things made poor or mediocre on purpose, if the people love it or how many people push back and hate it, I think it's literally as simple, or it could be as simple as a way for the not nilC to gather up information on the masses. So regarding what we're looking at right here, the role of Elon Musk, it might be not much more than a test. How many things can we say this guy is doing? How many things can we put forth that he's up to? Or maybe he'll cure cancer. Or how many things can we put forth that the people believe in? It could be that simple. Elon Musk might be nothing more than a simple test, so the strangers, the dark city bad guys, can gain information about the collective consciousness. And then if it puts a little too much out and people say, wait a second, it'll pull back, make the story more believable. But what's next with Elon Musk? I mean, we stepped forth in the first question of this test years ago and said he couldn't be doing that. The whole story that, oh yeah, he's trying to replace NASA and doing the world's #1 electric car company at the same time. 8 years ago, we said he couldn't be doing both of them at the same time. And here we are 5 or 6 major global conglomerates later that he owns and runs. I guess people that drive the Teslas, I guess they believe it. They still have the posters above their bed. Jerk, 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 jerk. What ridiculous thing will they try to pass off next regarding Elon Musk? Will it be Olympic ice skating? He just took it up 6 weeks ago. He's already doing quads. That's a quadruple to you and me. Or maybe it'll be as simple as a Bruce Gender reenactment, or a Lana and Larry Lewikowski brothers and sisters thing. Maybe he'll become a you-know-what. Maybe it's that. But you think they're done? You think they're done with this presentation? Not by a long shot, my friends. Oh no, look at this. The creature that pops up everywhere continues to keep popping up, his face popping out from behind rocks and mushrooms. I was flipping by the channels, constant magenta presentation. What is them? Turn the magenta down. And then Shaq's face appeared. And I went, oh no, not this guy again. He owns part of Papa John's. He's in the Epson commercials. He's now, is it what, some sort of cruise line where families are taking their kids on some sort of cruise ships? Could you imagine how horrible it would be if Shaq popped up, was floating around the pool in some kind of floaty or something? That, guys, okay, maybe I do use the word reality breakdown too much, but I don't have a better word right now. It's a reality breakdown as much as he pops up. It just doesn't make any sense. Well, it's not a I know, I don't want to take it too far. It's not a reality breakdown. Somebody's screaming at me. I know it's not my first conspiracy video. Matt, he's a high level. They brought him into the Freemasons and the secret societies. He did whatever bidding. He went to whatever Eyes Wide Shut parties. He did whatever he needed to do and continues to do for them. And in these ways, through his dumb commercials, he's being rewarded. Yeah, regarding Shaq, I had to find this image again from Return of the Jedi. He's just simply being rewarded as a useful idiot. He served them or whatever they did to him or for him. Luke Skywalker, you need to take me to Jabba now. We'll take you to Jabba now. That's not exactly how it sounded. Take you to Jabba now. You serve your master well, Shaq, and you will be rewarded through Epson commercials and bullshit appearances on TV. Or maybe, I hear you. Somebody's yelling right now in real time. Maybe Shaq's Jabba. Let's try it. Maybe it works. Maybe George Lucas regrets the casting. Puny Jedi. I think without makeup, he could have played that role. Or the Rancor monster. Mariah Carey famously sang the All I Want for Christmas Is You song, and we'll close many of the videos until December 25th with Christmas wishes and requests. And notnilC, if you're listening, and I'm sure you are in real time before upload, all I want for Christmas is no more Shaq in any commercials, say through July of 2025. I don't want to see him flipping a pizza. I don't want to see him pushing his cyan and magenta ink cartridge replacements. I don't want to see his face. Okay, this is my Christmas wish. And no, I'm not making some sort of contract with the notnilC. It's simply my Christmas wish. They can choose to do it or not. Hasn't a Christmas gift ever been given in one direction without a return gift coming back in the other direction? Did a 90-year-old grandmother give a little baby a gift and expect a present back from the baby? No, it's simply a Christmas wish. Well, Matt, you've heard, be careful what you wish for. How could it get any worse? What are they going to put in the commercials that he would have normally been in? Maybe Ellen. Yeah, Ellen, she's, what happened to Ellen? She was disgraced over the last 2 years. Ellen was disgraced. Maybe you think they'll bring Ellen back just to spite me and she'll be in the new Epson commercials? Actually, Shaq, I would much rather see Shaq. Oh boy. Matt, if these shows are going to break down to nonsense, I'm not sure I'm going to... Well, they all in the end break down into nonsense. Are you new here? Thanks for listening.